Hi, I'm John, and I'm reading. I'm at Wendy's. I'm gonna do a video, the next chapter 3. But first, I'm having the Baconator. Look at that baby. Got bacon and everything. I know I shouldn't have it. Small shake. French fries. Well, I'm gonna eat this, then I'll get back to you. Well, that was good. Now, you know what we're reading. Okay, we're up to chapter 3. My baby, Margie. Okay? Chapter 3, I got the book. The name of this chapter is Little Parable. Okay. Here it goes. Margie's return to the ballroom wasn't as eventful as she had hoped. She slammed once again into the chandelier and tumbled down onto the golden floor. The chandelier then came crashing down onto the floor, shattering crystal glass throughout the picturesque ballroom. As Margie staggered to her feet, wobbly and dazed, she simultaneously shook glass off her body. She listened and looked around, only to realize the wild dogs were no longer in the banquet hall. Where were they? She then saw the guest who swallowed up the basketball and asked, "Have you seen the boys I was chatting with earlier?" "Yes, King Friday kicked them out of here." "What?" Then he went on to say, when the king came in to see the guest, he noticed they were not wearing wedding clothes. He asked, "How did you guys get in here without wedding clothes?" They were speechless. Then the king told the attendants, "Tie them hand and foot, throw them outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are invited, but few are chosen." From the corner of her eye, she could see the attendants heading in her direction with a fierce look on their faces. Like her friends, she too was about to be thrown out into the darkness. But not before another change in dimension. Margie shut her eyes tightly, and her lips begged to wake up from this unimaginable nightmare. But her wish was not to be. The scenery around her changed into a cold mountain desert area. Wobbling on her feet with widened eyeballs, she encountered a giant warrior. He was wearing a bronze helmet with bronze on his legs. He was holding a bronze javelin that was strapped around his back. He had a sword that was as sharp as a razor. The giant's name was Goliath. He was screaming and belittling a little boy whose name was David. David was staring at Goliath as he put his hand into his bag that was strapped around his waist. Then he took out a pair of click-clacks and flung them, hitting the giant warrior in his forehead. The click-clacks sunk into his forehead. Goliath fell flat on his face. Without hesitation, David ran over to Goliath and stood over him. He took the giant's sword from his belt and plunged it into his heart. Then, David cut off his head and held it high in the air. He turned in Margie's direction, and with a big smile on his face, he winked at her. Her reaction was heart-throbbing terror. Heart-throbbing terror. She took off running in the opposite direction, and seeing a barn not far off in the distance, she ran to it. Once inside, she climbed the ladder leading up to the hayloft, and she buried herself under piles of hay, hoping David wasn't following her. 15 minutes later, she poked her head out from the hay, hoping all was clear. She noticed another hay pile only a few feet away, shifting back and forth. The moving indicated to Margie that she was not alone. Not sure about the shifting hay pile, she took refuge back under her pile where she would be safe for the moment. As another 15 minutes passed, not only was the other hay pile still shifting, but now she could hear soft sobbing from underneath it. Margie's curiosity won as she moved quietly towards the shifting pile. No longer able to contain herself, she began shoveling down into the hay. After a few good scoops, she grabbed hold of a short, frisbee-looking character. She picked up the character onto its knees as it wept uncontrollably. The frisbee character had a hard time speaking because of the continual crying. "Calm down. Everything is okay. I'm here now," Margie said. With that, it began to settle down, and Margie asked again, "What's your name?" Under a mountain of sniffles, she was able to mutter, "Parable. My name is Parable." Now that's a name I never heard before," Margie said. "Yes, my teacher uses me all the time to get his point across." "What do you mean, Parable?" asked Margie. "My teacher is incredibly wise, but this time I think he is asking for my life." "Your life?" "Yes, he just told a parable to a rich person, but I'm sure it was aimed also at me." "Tell me the parable." "Parable? And I will give you my opinion." "Okay," Parable said. Then, in a soft Latin voice, she began to speak. "The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, 'What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops.' Then he said, 'This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich towards God.'" Margie started laughing as Parable was staring at her with the most serious look. Margie explained, "Parable, you are the parable. It is for the rich man to ponder, not you. Relax, you're not going to die." Parable went on to tell Margie of other wiser parables, telling her, "And when they speak, I can't understand anything they say." She wanted to know what the meaning behind what some of the older and wiser parables meant. Margie settled into a comfortable position on a patch of hay and asked Parable for another parable. Obliging, Parable said, "Here's one. They call it a lamp." Parable continued. We're going to continue the next parable with Parable in the next video. Okay? So until then, I think I've taken up enough of Wendy's. I think it took up enough of Wendy's restaurant time. So God bless you, bless your family. I'll be praying for each and every one of you. Meanwhile, if you can subscribe to this channel, make it a little bit easier. Remember, if you want all the videos, you just go to YouTube and type in Margie's Bible story, and the rest of the videos will come up. Until then, I will see you on the next video. Peace out.